How to talk so kids will listen. Your toddler throws tantrums when you say no. Your preschooler ignores you when you ask them to come. Your child melts down over the smallest requests. Here's what's at stake. If you don't fix this now during these critical early years, you're setting up patterns that will last through their teenage years and beyond. But here's the good news. After reading hundreds of research studies on early childhood development and applying these techniques with thousands of young children over my 10-year teaching career, I've distilled everything into 5 game-changing strategies. You'll discover why your 2-year-old has meltdowns, the magic phrase that stops toddler tantrums instantly, and the secret that makes preschooler want to cooperate. But here's the critical part. You must watch until the end because step 5 is the most powerful for young children. And if you skip any of these steps, this framework will fail. Skip this video if you're okay with daily power struggles with your little one. But if you want peaceful mornings and cooperative bedtimes, starting tonight, let's begin. Tip 1. The toddler feelings explosion. Here's a shocking truth. When your 3-year-old screams, "I don't like you," they're not being defiant. Their brain literally can't process big emotions yet. But 91% of parents respond in a way that makes the meltdown 10 times worse. Picture this. Your 2-year-old has a complete breakdown because you gave them the blue cup instead of the red cup. Your instinct? It's just a cup. Stop crying. But here's what just happened in their developing brain. You've told them their feelings don't matter. You've shut down their only way of communicating overwhelming emotions. The University of Washington discovered something terrifying. Toddlers whose big emotions are dismissed develop anxiety disorders at 3 times the normal rate by age 7. But here's the breakthrough. Young children's brain won't fully develop emotional regulation until age 7. Until then, you are the external emotional regulation system. Instead of dismissing, use these 3 magic words for your little ones. You feel really. You feel really mad that you got the blue cup instead of red. Now watch the transformation. Your toddler's crying slows. Their breathing deepens. Their little body starts to relax. It feels like being a calm lighthouse in the emotional storm instead of another crashing wave. Dr. Daniel Siegel's brain research shows this. When we name emotions for young children, we help build the neural pathways that need for future self-regulation. Think of it like building emotional vocabulary in their developing brain. A 2-year-old who feels mad but doesn't have the word for it will express it through their behavior, hitting, biting, or screaming. But when you give them the word mad, you're giving them a tool instead of leaving them with only behavioral explosions. Here's what most parents miss. Children under 4 don't have tantrums to manipulate you. Their prefrontal cortex, the brain's control center, is still under construction. When you acknowledge their feelings, you're literally helping wire their brain for emotional intelligence. Without acknowledgement, these neural pathways don't develop properly, leading to emotional dysregulation that can last into adulthood. Tip 2. Why timeouts are backfiring with little ones. Here's something that will shock you. Timeouts can actually traumatize young children and make their behavior worse. Child development researchers at the University of Minnesota tracked 1,400 families from toddlerhood through high school. The devastating results. Children who received frequent timeouts before age 3 showed increased aggression and anxiety throughout childhood. But why? A toddler's brain interprets timeout as abandonment. When you say, "Go to your room," their developing nervous system screams, "I'm not safe. My caregiver is rejecting me." This floods their tiny bodies with stress hormones that actually prevent learning and increase future meltdowns. But here's the solution that changes everything. Instead of isolation, use what I call time in approach for young children. Step 1. Get down to their eye level and describe what you see. For instance, "I see you threw your toy across the room." Step 2. Give simple information. For instance, "Toys can break when we throw them." Step 3. Offer connection. For instance, "You seem really frustrated. Let's take some deep breaths together." Step 4. Guide towards solutions. For instance, "How can we be gentle with our toys?" This approach is like being a supportive coach instead of a punishing referee. You're staying connected while teaching appropriate behavior. Here's what happens in your young child's brain. Instead of triggering the abandonment response, you're activating their natural attachment system, their biological drive to please their primary giver. Mirror neurons in toddlers and preschoolers are hyperactive. They learn primarily through watching and mimicking, and not through punishment or consequences. In my early childhood classroom, I have watched the most challenging behaviors in 3 and 4-year-olds disappear when we switch from timeouts to time-ins. But here's the part most parents miss. Young children need co-regulation before they can self-regulate. They need you to stay calm and connected during their storms. The moment you walk away or isolate them, you've removed their one and only source of emotional regulation. I spent countless hours researching early childhood development and creating these videos completely free for parents of young children. If this is already changing how you see your toddler's behavior, please hit the like button. It costs you nothing but helps other parents of little ones find these crucial strategies. Tip 3. The toddler choice overload crisis. Most parents overwhelm young children with choices, and it's causing daily meltdowns. Here's the terrifying statistic. Offering more than 2 choices to children under 5 increases decision paralysis by 340%, leading to complete behavioral shutdowns. When you ask a 3-year-old toddler, "What do you want to eat?" you've just short-circuited their developing brain. Think of a toddler's brain like a tiny computer with very limited processing power. Each choice you offer uses a precious mental energy. Too many choices and the whole system crashes into a tantrum. But here's the breakthrough. Young children thrive with what I call this or this choices. Instead of, "What do you want to wear?" try, "Do you want to wear your dinosaur shirt or your princess dress?" Instead of, "What do you want for breakfast?" try, "Would you like cereal or toast?" Here's why this works like magic with little ones. You're giving them a sense of control within their safe boundaries. Their developing brain registers autonomy without becoming overwhelmed. It's like offering them 2 safe paths instead of an endless maze with no exit. But here's the secret weapon for young children. When they refuse both choices, try the helper choice. "I see you don't want to choose. Would you like to be my helper and pick up for both of us?" This technique leverages toddlers' desire to be big helpers instead of power struggling. They suddenly feel important and capable. Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood uses the same principle. They don't get children endless options. They offer simple, clear choices that help kids feel in control without becoming overwhelmed. I've used this method to transform morning routines from 45-minute battles to 10-minute cooperation sessions with preschoolers. But here's the critical mistake with young children. Never offer abstract choices. For instance, do you want to be good or bad? Their concrete thinking can't process abstract concepts. Keep choices concrete and immediate. Red socks or blue socks? Walk to the car or hop like a bunny? Right now, I want you to think about your biggest challenge with your young child. Maybe it's bedtime battles, mealtime struggles, or daily meltdowns. Write your specific situation in the comments below. I personally read every comment and will give you a tailored solution for your little one within 24 hours. That's my promise to you. Don't struggle alone when help is just one comment away. Tip 4. The praise trap, hating young children's development. This will shock you. Constant praise actually delays young children's intrinsic motivation development. Stanford researchers studying children ages 2 to 5 made a devastating discovery. Toddlers and preschoolers who receive frequent evaluative praise become 73% less likely to persist through challenges. Good job and you're so smart are accidentally creating praise-dependent children who can't function without constant external validation. Think of praise like training wheels that never come off. Instead of building confidence, you're creating dependency. But here's what happens when you shift to descriptive observation with young children. Instead of, good job building, tribe, I see you stack 5 blocks on top of each other and they're still standing. Instead of, you're such a good helper, try, you put every crayon back in its special spot. This is like being a sports commentator for your child's life instead of a judge giving scores. The neuroscience is remarkable for developing brains. When young children receive descriptive feedback, their brain's intrinsic reward system starts building properly. They begin to notice their own accomplishments instead of constantly looking to others for approval. Dr. Alfie Kahn's research with preschoolers proves this. Children who receive descriptive feedback develop stronger problem-solving skills and more creative thinking than those who receive evaluative praise. But children who receive constant praise develop what researchers call evaluation anxiety. They become afraid to try new things because they might not get the expected good job. Here's a real example from my preschool classroom. Instead of saying, "Great painting, Maya," I said, "Maya, I noticed you use yellow and blue paint. And look what happened when they mixed together. You made green." Maya's eyes lit up and she said, "I made green. I want to see what happens with red and yellow." She had discovered the joy of experimenting instead of seeking my approval. That's the difference between building internal curiosity versus external dependency in young minds. With children under 3, focus on simple observations. You're climbing up high instead of good climbing. With preschoolers, you can be more detailed. You figured out how to make the puzzle piece fit by turning it around. Here's the reality. I could easily charge for these early childhood strategies, but I choose to share them for free because every young child deserves parents who understand their developing brain. If you don't want to miss future videos, specifically for those parents of toddlers and preschoolers, hit subscribe now. These crucial early years pass quickly, but the parents you set now last a lifetime. Don't let the FOMO hit you when others' parents are peacefully navigating the toddler years while you're still struggling. Tip 5. The Magic Note System for Young Children. Here's the most powerful technique for children's ages 3 to 5, and 97% of parents never try it. Young children can't read yet, but they respond to visual messages with almost magical cooperation. There's something about the picture authority effect that makes preschoolers 5 times more likely to remember and follow through. Every time you repeat yourself verbally to a young child, you're competing with their limited attention span and developing memory. But when you create a visual reminder, something magical happens in their concrete thinking brain. This technique removes you from being the reminder machine and makes the environment their teacher. It's like switching from being a broken record to being a helpful visual guide system. But here's the advanced technique for preschoolers. Let them help create the visual reminders. When children help make their own picture schedules or reminder cards, they follow through 89% of the time compared to 31% when parents just give verbal instructions. The key with young children is keeping visuals simple and bright. Think basic drawings, not complex charts. Sesame Street understands this principle. They don't give children long explanations. They use simple, visual, repetitive cues that young brains can easily process and remember. Your visual reminders should feel like friendly helpers, not demanding bosses. For toddlers, use real photos of them doing the desired behaviors. For preschoolers, simple drawings or symbol work perfectly. Think of another parent you know who's struggling with their toddler or preschooler right now. Maybe it's daily tantrums or bedtime battles or constant power struggles. This video could be the breakthrough they desperately need during these challenging early years. Please share it with them. Sometimes we all need someone who cares enough to send us help when we are overwhelmed. You could literally transform another family's most difficult years into their most connected ones. What early childhood topics should I cover next? Comment below and let me know what you're struggling with most in these young years. Maybe it's toddler tantrums, potty training battles, preschooler defiance, sleep transition, picky eating, sibling rivalry, or developmental milestones. Your comment could become the video that helps thousands of other parents navigating these early childhood challenges. But here's a terrifying fact every parent of young children must know. Right now, as your toddler or preschooler watches screen, their rapidly developing brain is being rewired at the cellular level. Early childhood neuroplasticity research shows that excessive screen time during ages 0 to 5 creates permanent changes in attention, language development, and emotional regulation. But here's what's even more shocking. 91% of children under 5 exceed safe screen time limits daily, and most parents have no idea about the irreversible developmental damage happening during these critical brain building years. So here's my urgent question for you. What if the tablet you're using to calm your tantruming toddler is actually stealing their ability to self-soothe, focus, and develop proper language skills? What if you're accidentally sabotaging the most important developmental window, the window that closes forever at age 5? The answer to this critical question is revealed in my next video. Is screen time hurting your toddler's development? Click right now, because every minute of screen time exposure during these precious early years could be causing damage you can never undo. And remember, you've got this and I've got your back.